So let's get into some of the fab stuff here. I feel like it's getting a lot quieter on the
Mhm.
waiver wire these days. I my big pickups from the weekend were Ryan Jeffers. I needed a second catcher. I dropped Jan Gomes. I got Cade Marlowe. I dropped Brian Anderson, who I had for a while. He was hurt for a bit. Taking a shot on Marlowe. He hit a grand slam over the weekend. There's some pop and speed in his profile. So those were my two big pickups in Tout Wars Mixed.
I fully support the Marlowe call. I picked up Marlowe in AL Tout when he came up because obviously it's a deeper AL only league. But I really liked what he did in AAA. 11 home runs, 25 stolen bases in 69 AAA games speaks to a fantasy friendly profile. He's hitting 313 with 2 home runs and 2 steals in 18 games and is playing regularly. So I love that Marlowe call. I think that's a really good scoop for a lot of people in leagues. I moved on from Starling Marte basically everywhere I have him. I know they haven't said he's out for the year, but he's out for multiple weeks. There's absolutely no reason for the Mets to push him to come back this year unless he's 100% healthy. And the groin injury for a guy who's speed based. So like a guy like Marlowe would be a good ad for somebody like Marte. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I made the swap for Ramon Laureano for Marte in a few leagues as well. Laureano has disappointed a little bit, but he's got that same like 20 homer, 20 speed kind of profile to him. And he's going to play every day for the Guardians or, 80% of the games for the Guardians. So I think that there's some value there.
What do you think of Emerson Hancock? He was actually the highest bid player in my Tout Wars mixed draft. 88. I think at this point people are just spending a lot of their fab. So 88 far and away the most bid player this weekend.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by him. I think, if you're comparing within his pitching staff, he's a lot more, George Kirby than Brian Wu in terms of like he's a lot more command around the zone than he is plus raw stuff. But he's been of the prospect writers that I follow, he's been talked about for a long time. And so I think that there's enough value in his arsenal with like forcing, cutter, changeup, sinker. It's all going to be a lot of like inducing soft contact. I don't think you're going to get a lot of like really high strikeout rate games. So it depends on what you need right now. If you're good in ratios and you're chasing strikeouts, he might not be my top priority. If you're okay in strikeouts and you want ratios and wins because Seattle's good, I think Hancock is really good. My top pitching ad this week was Nick Lodolo because he's already back in a rehab on his rehab assignment. His last outing was 22 pitches, so he probably needs 2, maybe 3 more starts. So you're probably looking at 2 more weeks. But this is the time right now where if you're in a good spot and you can, add Nick Lodolo and keep him on your bench for 2 weeks and then he's back, he's obviously we know the talent there and we know the Reds are competing, so they want him to come up even if he's only throwing 5 innings.
So looking at my NFBC TGFBI league, the highest bid this week was actually for Trevor Story. And that might sound a little crazy that he would still be out there, but it's tough in the TGFBI leagues because you only have so many bench spots. You can't put players on the IL. So often when a player is hurt, you have to make some tough decisions. So he was still out there. I don't really have much fab dollars left in there because my pitching staff was destroyed this year. So I was taking a lot of shots on different pitchers throughout the course of the season. So someone was fortunate enough to have some cash left to get Story. I think that was a great ad and just kind of a reminder, like, take a look. You never know in your league.
Yeah.
He might still be out there.